Good morning everyone. So today we've got a MWS build M4A1 for a customer. Only something simple as a Leylax hop arm and a pink flamingo. If you haven't got a pink flamingo bucking for any of your gas blowbacks, they are the absolute dogs. I use these in all my builds. They're just phenomenal, especially when you put them in something like a Loki from Hadron. They're lifting silly weights, and in the MWS it's a good little combination. It's my personal setup, the Leylax arm. Saves you a little bit of money. It's not too expensive. Lifts you some good weights, and you know it's two parts. So instead of buying the full hop unit, it's a good little start, and I honestly fully recommend it because you know I run 0.3s and it's insanely accurate. Even with you know your stock barrel and your stock hop unit, they are insane. But yeah, either way, we've got this M4A1 for a customer, and this is all he wants. So it's brand new from Marui. And we're going to show you how to install this. Hopefully it's going to be as clear as it can be. First you're going to drop off the lower handguard and put that to the side. Next you're going to want to remove this little bolt here. So let's put that down, let's get the right tool. I don't know if anyone's looking to get an MWS platform or they've got one, but in my opinion it's been one of the best gas blowbacks I have had my hands on. The system is, you know, utterly lovely. It is so smooth, and of course it's Tokyo Marui, so absolutely just fantastic rifles. I haven't put mine down yet since I actually got it. Although with all the mags they can weigh a ton, but luckily there will be a separate video, but there is a MWS M4 adapter there from AirTac that is going to be, sorry, that was the MP5, this is the MWS M4 from AirTac that is going to be going with this build. So yeah, once this screw is out, you're going to pull the delta ring back and lift up and back, and with that exposing the outer barrel gas rod, obviously if that was fully functional. Right, so what we're going to do now is there are two pins here in the front sight. You're going to want to knock these out to get this to come off with the gas rod, and then we can pull the delta ring off and everything like that. There is also a little grub screw that is just sat in the bottom here, so you're going to want to get your Allen keys, take that grub screw straight out, because some people forget about it to the point where they try and rip the barrel out and it scratches the outer barrel. So we're going to take that out. What I advise everyone to do is get a little lid, pot, whatever you'd want to do. So when you take these out, you can keep them all safe. So there's your little grub screw. Okay, we'll drop that in there. And then it depends what you want to knock your pins with. You can use a punch. Me personally, I'd choose Allen key heads. It's quite easy. I also use some pliers just to whack on the top, so I'm not worried about damaging them. Now with these pins, they should knock through one way only, so give it a little tap and you can see that it knocks through quite well. There is also, whether you can see it, some little tapered grip marks on there, so if you knock it through the other way, effectively it's not going to be held in as well, because they're there to keep it in place. So you can see it's a completely smooth pin. Okay, and those grips are to go in last and get punched out first so you don't damage anything. So just be very careful, just little love taps. Keep checking to make sure you don't hit the sight or anything like that. And you're punching it through. Okay. If it doesn't go all the way through because it's still lovely and tight, give it a couple more taps. If you can't get it out, don't get pliers on it, there's no point. Just get one of your Allen keys, drop it in, give it another couple of taps, only very lightly. Doesn't need to be anything hard, and then you should be able to just push it through just like that. Alright, let's move them out of the way. Now what you should be able to do is then twist this and lift it off. Make sure that you take your flash hider off so that is not going to get marked up in any way. Obviously you've got all these lovely markings on here, your NATO markings. You don't want to scratch any of that as well when you take the sight off. Just gently does it and you are golden. I love a good brand new thread myself. Absolutely lovely and clean. O-ring should stay on there. There is an O-ring, so just make sure that stays there. Now what you're going to do is just wiggle and slide over and off. Front post ring comes with it, and then you are left. This is where the pins go. You can see they lock into there, and you can see the grub screw hasn't marked anything, which is absolutely perfect. Okay, a lovely outer barrel. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the delta ring off. Okay, so we are going to get a Phillips head screwdriver. Quite a chunky one by the looks of it. Always check before you unscrew stuff, before you round stuff off, that it's a lovely tight fitment. And then once you unscrew, a little bit of force, and it'll come out. There should be a little bit of Loctite on these. You can see from the other screw that there is some form of Loctite. I don't know how well it shows up, but they should come off relatively easy. And then what you're going to do is slide all the delta rings off. Make sure you know what order they go in, so if you really want, okay, you can do it back to front, so you can turn them upside down and you know that that's how it is going to sit on. There's your delta ring spring. So it's entirely up to you what you do, but just make sure you know which way they go on. We'll use this video for reference. So now you can see the barrel's nearly off. We do have a little C-clamp here, so you can get your C-clamp pliers. Depending on what ones you've got, I might put the other attachment on. So you can pick these up from most hardware shops, to be fair. I might actually change it because it'll make my life a little bit easier. Whilst you watch me struggle with some pliers, there we go. Spring needs a little bit of oil on it. There we go. Drop that through, twist that. There we are. Now I should be able to come over the top of that. Stick them in the two holes. If it allows me. These pliers are playing up. Right, are you going to work? Might need to invest in some new ones, to be honest, but they will do for now. Okay, so once they're in the holes, they are a bit fiddly, these are really annoying. Okay, oh, crying out loud. You will be able to squeeze the ring open and wiggle it off if my pliers do not play ball. So if I just do this off camera a second, or it might still be on camera, it's a little bit awkward. So you can squeeze them and you can wiggle it off. Hopefully that was on camera, but if you hold both sides you'll be able to do it. So I'll leave that ring there. On that note, I might invest in some better pliers. However, here's what I have for the moment, so that shall do. Now we have to get the barrel nut off. So you are going to need some wrenches. You're going to have these grooves here, and these barrel wrenches fit straight over. That's the wrong one. Is it that one? Yeah, so you got the, see the 3 pins and the grooves. Depending on what barrel nuts you've got, it's this one that will fit in. They're fairly simple to remove. You have a couple of different tools, depending on what barrel nut you've got. If they don't fit, you probably could get away with it if you put it in there, but you can see it doesn't really, I don't know if you can see, it doesn't really line up very well. Failing that, you can use the one on the end, which will lock into pretty much any nut, and you should be able to twist it off like so. Alright, so hopefully you should be able to see this, but if we use this one for example, to show you that it can work. Saying that my end has been rounded down a little bit, I might need a new barrel wrench. So yeah, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So if we do it this side, so you might be able to see a little more. There you go, just breaks off easy enough like that, and then you should be able to twist with your hands. Some, just like the Mark 18s, you will need a special tool. I don't know if you can see here, look, turn this light on, but there is Loctite around the threads, which is good, but sometimes they are not that easy to come off, so you have to be careful. Now what you're going to do is you're going to try and wiggle it off. You don't have to take this one all the way off if you really don't want to, but for the purpose of this we will. And then realistically your outer barrel will come straight out. Give it a little pull. Oh, she is in there lovely and tight. Okay, right. You don't have to do this, but what we're going to do is we're going to break open the receiver just to absolutely make sure. Take the brand new bolt out, lovely stuff. Do this so we can work with more. I thought it was going to come off fairly simple, but nothing in airsoft is ever fairly simple. So here is obviously your hop adjuster here, and realistically, like I said, you should be able to pull, but being brand new, we're going to have some lovely tightness with some Loctite. So you don't want to ever try and knock it through. You are probably more than likely going to damage something. However, if worst comes to worst, then you might need to. But for the purpose of this, we will try and do it with just force. And if it doesn't want to, you can get a flat bladed screwdriver and give it a little persuasion. you don't really want to try and mark the upper receiver or anything like that, but if you do it very, very gently, you will be able to get in there. So if you have a look, you can see the screwdriver's in there. It's got a little bit of leverage, so just very gently, very, very gently ease it off. I used absolutely no effort in that, and then your outer barrel will slip straight off. Okay, and then you're left with the inner barrel. If you turn the hop all the way off, then this should just wiggle straight out. Lovely stuff. Right, now being a stock TM hop unit, they're pretty good. Like I said, I run stock TM hop unit. There is nothing wrong with them whatsoever. But if you want to lift a heavyweight, it's just a simple arm upgrade and the hop rubber, and you are laughing. You do have this little O-ring right at the bottom of the barrel. That literally just seats between the outer barrel and the hop unit to give it that little extra cushion. There's many ways to take this O-ring off. You can just be absolutely brutal and just split the hop unit apart, but where this is the only thing holding it together, you can either pinch either side of it, push round, and you'll loosen off the O-ring to the point where you can just roll it off, which is my preferred method of choice. Make sure you don't get them mixed up. One is bigger than the other, so you shouldn't have an issue, and you will have an O-ring on the end of the barrel. That we're not going to touch, we don't need to. Okay, so yeah, what we'll do is it's just split in half, this unit, so you just pull it off, job done. We're going to have the hop arm and the nub that happens to actually be stuck on it, but if you knock it off, it's there. I'll put that to the side so you can see it. Take the other part of the hop unit off, and then we're replacing this hop rubber. Okay, so with the Laylax arm, you do not need a nub. Let's get this out.